Thanks to the EA Creator Network for providing me codes for these 3 kits. My opinions are my own. Hey folks, how's it going? This is Iron Seagull here, and yes, you heard that right. They released 3 kits at once. Again. Reviewing 2 kits at once is already quite a bit to deal with, but 3 is really pushing it. I'm surprised actually none of them are collabs this time, but we actually are up to 10 kits for the whole year now, and we had 10 kits in total for all of last year, so we're not even halfway through 2025 and we have that amount of kits already. That's just nuts. I had a feeling the creator kits would increase the amount of kits in total, but yeah, wow, that's just, I hate that. However, I am surprised by the quality of the kits this time around. So we got 2 build and 1 create a sim. We got Restoration Workshop, which does allow you to make a workshop, but it's almost a gameplay kit because there's some new appliances that come broken and then you have to restore them in order for them to have their normal functionality. The other build kit is Kitchen Clutter, which is pretty self-explanatory. You can decorate your kitchen with a whole bunch of clutter, though there's actually more functional items in this one than I expected. Lastly, we have Golden Years, the Create a Sim kit, which is targeted at elders, which is pretty cool because we don't really get stuff aimed at elders very often. And there's even some other accessories like dentures and glasses that you hang around your neck. The items are not restricted to elders only, however, because with how The Sims 4 works, you have the same items available from teenagers to young adults to adults to elders. So you could even dress a teenager in some of this clothing if you want to. We'll talk about Golden Years first and we'll do the 2 build kits later. It is odd, there's no male style look, only 2 female ones. But talking about the individual items, we have a new bonnet here that comes in some floral patterns as well as a couple of plain swatches. There's a headscarf as well that has a variety of floral and plain swatches too. Then we have the dentures. I was a little caught off guard because I was like, wait, what is that supposed to be? I was like, oh, okay. That's what it was. There's a new pair of glasses, though what's kind of neat about these is that they do have the chains on the sides and then go around the back of the head. You'll see that better on Bob Pancakes when we get to the masculine items. But then we also have a necklace with a ring on it. We have the glasses that go around the neck that I mentioned before. So yeah, thankfully they are a separate accessory as I hoped. And we have this emergency button here, which I was not expecting at all. This top is neat. I like how there are some clean and dirty swatches and then floral print too. Then we have this top, which, yeah, it sits a little high, but it is meant to go with one of the bottoms that we'll see in a bit. This top gives major cottagecore vibes, very cottage living reminiscent. And then we have this jacket here, which has binoculars attached to it. That's interesting. Very good for Seagull watching. And then, yeah, there's one other jacket there, which is also nice. Moving on to the bottoms, we have this longer high-waisted skirt. So that's what I mentioned is supposed to go with that shorter top. And then we have some pants as well. All right, moving on to full body outfits, we have this nightgown. It's very nice. That's probably one of my favorite items in this whole kit. Then we have this athleisure outfit, and there's 2 swatches dedicated to the 2 universities in Discovery University, so that's a nice nod. And the last 2 swatches remind me so much of Synthwave, so that's really cool as well. Lastly, a couple of apron outfits. The first I think matches well with Kitchen Clutter, and the other definitely is for gardening, but could also go well with Restoration Workshop. Under body accessories, we have a set of rings that just go on the right hand, or actually, I guess from their perspective, it's their left. And we have a pair of gardening gloves, which are really nice. And there are some nice patterns on some of the swatches. Moving on to the masculine items, there's the dentures again. And they have toupees. It's actually under the hats category, so you can wear it on top of hairstyles, and it has all the same swatches as the actual hair, so that's great. And there's the glasses again, so you have a better view of the back, and there's all the same neck accessories as before. Under tops, we have a couple of the same ones we already saw, but then for the new ones, I actually show all the new swatches individually. Yeah, I love the the fish being hooked on that last swatch there. And that's interesting. There's like a name tag on some of the swatches of that jacket. For bottoms, we just have the pair of trousers, so nothing much to write home about. And then we have the same pair of gardening gloves and ring set that we saw earlier. Under full body outfits, we have the sleepwear set, which is really nice. I think that's something I'll use on elders quite a lot. And then we have this formal wear with suspenders and a tie. And then we have this apron that we saw earlier, as well as this athleisure with the same swatches. That's it for the 27 new Create a Sim items. Now let's move on to the build kits. Restoration Workshop has 24 items, including a broken stove, a broken refrigerator, a broken coffee machine, a broken microwave, a tool shelf with some lights on them, a fluorescent light that hangs from the ceiling, a bucket that doubles as a chair, some decorative sawdust that goes on the floor, a couple shelving units of different heights, a wallpaper that looks like drywall, some decorative toolboxes, just regular boxes, wall shelf, decorative workbenches, a functional workbench that works like the base game, wood crafting bench, a functional standing fan, a functional fuse box and water heater like the ones we have in For Rent. There's also a freestanding sink and storage tubs. And hey, wait, what's that? Yes, that is right. It is stackable. And it is just like one at a time, so it's not a fusion of multiple. So stack those as high as you want and let your storage dreams come true, because they also do have functional storage. Now for all the swatches, I had to do something a little different when it came to the broken appliances, because you cannot change the color after you place them down. So I just did it by scrolling through the colors before actually placing the item. They are quite nice swatches though, and very like retro looking in design, so they definitely stand out. The rest of the objects have decent swatch selection, and I like how there are a variety of both clean and dirty swatches. I think we've been getting a lot more of that in DLC lately, and there was the sawdust on the floor. It's kind of like what we had with the Artist Studio kit a while back, except those were like paint splatters, but then this time is sawdust. So interesting. That's kind of something that can really help set the mood of the room that you're building. The fluorescent light is really nice too. It's almost surprising it took this long to really have that in the game. I'm sure that will be plenty useful. So this is a decorative workbench right here. You can't really do anything with that one. And the same with this toolbox and the one next to it. There's the fuse box. There's a few different colors for that. I'll talk a bit more about that and the water heater in a second. Yep, there we go. Yep, some more clean and dirty swatches. There's the water heater, and there's just some of the other swatches of the wallpaper towards the end. I'm certainly a fan of that fan. Way more swatches than I expected. I'm gonna go back and put that in a lot of my Sims homes. The blog post says it's functional, so I believe it is compatible with seasons. I do wish there was a version of it where it would rotate a bit from left to right, but it's still pretty cool. An interesting thing I stumbled upon pretty early into my review was that you are able to buy versions of the broken appliances that are fully fixed from the beginning. However, you need to have debug enabled in order to see them. I accidentally left the debug option on through Twisted Mexi's Better Build Buy mod. So you can see here that all the individual swatches are laid out as separate items. I do wish it had an indication that it is the fixed version, because it's named the exact same. And it's also the same price as the broken version, so it is good we have the option, but I wish they handled it a bit better. With the water heater and fuse box, I was fully expecting them to be decorative, but no, they took that functionality from For Rent without bringing its increased chance of save corruption with it. So that's nice, I suppose. And yeah, there you go. You can see that there is the ability to perform maintenance if it does need maintenance, and there's some upgrades available. Though it is weird, the placement of the special effects when they are broken, it's just copied and pasted from the For Rent ones, because the For Rent ones are on the left, and then the new ones with this kit are on the right. So it'd be nice if they do adjust that in a future patch. With the broken appliances, when you go into live mode and click on them, you'll see there's just one interaction, which is to restore it. I'm not sure if the amount of time to restore them varies between the appliances. I only tried the stove, but with no handiness skill at all, it took a total of 12 hours to bring it back to its full functionality. I ran into one minor bug where the interaction to restore was finished, so I thought it was done, but actually it wasn't. I just had to click on restore one more time, and then after a couple seconds, it actually was restored. Last kit for today is Kitchen Clutter. It has 31 items, which is more than what we usually get, I guess because it is mostly clutter, so it's not as much effort to make, whereas Restoration Workshop has a few less items than what we usually get, but has borderline new gameplay in it. So we have a new painting, a backsplash, oven mitts, stacked plates, a sink that does have some cutlery and stuff in it. We'll have a better angle of that later. A side table, a cutting board, a weight scale, a fridge that has magnets on for at least most of its swatches, a functional grocery bag, some kitchen supplies, a dish rack, a spice rack, some soap dispensers, a functional timer that works just like the alarm clock we got in a base game update earlier this year, a couple little storage bins, a tablet that's on display that works like a cookbook, a cookie jar that's functional, a lunchbox that's functional, kind of like a cooler, some kitchen utensils, a set of 3 little plants, a set of 3 fruit baskets hanging from the wall, a pair of cereal boxes, and a kitchen canister, as well as a jar. Now, with all the swatches, yeah, I don't think I really have any complaints about the swatches. And there's the sink. Yeah, isn't that cool? It actually has some stuff still set down in the sink, like as if it has been used in The Sims. They're just kind of messy, and they're just like, I'll do the dishes later. Very relatable. Oh yeah, I do love how there's different food in the jar depending on which swatch you use. The backsplash is a nice touch. I just moved it up the wall a bit so you can see the full height of it, and there's just my attempt at trying to make it go even higher by just having another one right above it. The cereal boxes, that's funny actually that there's some swatches where the cereal is just kind of spilled on the counter. I do wish there was an option of just one cereal box instead of it having to be 2 of them. And there's the oven mitts, and here's all the art pieces for the painting here, including the lava with the bulging eyes. Yeah, there's a lot of nice art in there. There's just some clutter there with some mugs hanging. There's the canister. The dish rack is nice. I'm sure I'll get plenty of use out of that. Just some assorted supplies there. I love this fridge, and I actually was not expecting those plain swatches at all, but always good for more flexibility. The grocery bag, it's cute. It's an interesting idea to have it be functional. I don't know if I'll actually use that over the phone, just because it seems a little weird to click on the grocery bag and just have all the food instantly appear in there. You're not actually bringing the grocery bag anywhere. But yep, it is there as an option. With those 2 storage bins at the end, they're unfortunately not functional, unlike the storage tub from the Restoration Workshop kit. So that is too bad. But like the jar from earlier, there is different food on display depending on the swatch you choose. Now I'm just showing some footage of the items that are functional in this kit. So that is neat. You have the tablet that does work just like a cookbook. So it's a little different from, say, like the cookbooks we got in Home Chef Hustle, as well as the very recent businesses and hobbies. And there's the timer. Yeah, that's cool that you can have that functionality. It is just like the alarm clock. So I guess if you're just cooking for a while, you could just set it and think like, okay, yeah, I'll be done in an hour or two, and just have it that way. And there's all the options on the lunchbox. That is too bad that the carton, the milk carton, is fused to that. That would be nice for that to be separated. And yeah, there is just taking the cookie from the cookie jar. It would have been cool if they actually took the lid off, but then I guess that would have classified as a completely new animation and therefore new gameplay. You can grab cereal directly from the pair of cereal boxes. I guess that actually is a little better than simply grabbing it from the fridge, though again, man, how nice would it have been to have them have an animation of them pouring the cereal into the bowl, but nope, we're not that lucky. And there's the grocery bag. So it does have its own inventory. When you go to purchase groceries, it's just like the menu that you see on the phone. And then when you're done buying all this stuff, it does appear in the bag's inventory. So you can put it all into the fridge or wherever you want to put it. And that pretty much sums up the Golden Years Restoration Workshop and Kitchen Clutter kits. I think they tried a little harder with these ones, especially Restoration Workshop, almost feeling like a gameplay kit. And if you don't have for rent, there could be a decent amount of value in this one. It's still hard for me to recommend it at the $5 US, but it feels like it would be kind of close, closer than maybe just about any other build buy kit we've had before. As for Kitchen Clutter, there's a fairly decent selection of items, though it is bizarre that we still don't have a toaster. Maybe we can still get a functional one eventually, and I am going to have to wait for custom content creators to separate some of the items, because I'm not a huge fan of the cereal boxes being fused together instead of just having one at a time. That's what I would normally do, I think. And also the milk carton with the lunchbox. Golden Years, I absolutely love that they did something for elders who don't get catered to very often, though I feel too much of the clothing, especially on the feminine side, resembles the cottage living style. If you already have that expansion pack, I think you could already cover that in a pretty similar way. At least it does have a few more unique accessories going for it, like the toupee or the glasses that are worn around the neck or the emergency button. These kit releases need to be better paced though. 3 at once is too much, both from the perspective of a reviewer and a customer. If they released one of the kits one week, the other a week later, and then the last one a week after that, then for those who like kits, then there's something to look forward to for a longer time rather than everything just dropping at once. It would also give us more time to appreciate each kit on its own instead of it always being lumped together with at least one other kit. I'll wrap up this video here, so feel free to let me know your thoughts on these 3 kits in the comment section below, and be sure to subscribe if you'd like to keep up with my latest gaming content. I will talk to you all later, and have a great day. Thanks for watching!